Hi everyone, welcome to Travel Tutorials with My Happy Suitcase. Today we're going to talk about grocery stores. It may seem a strange topic, grocery stores, traveling. Not necessarily the first thing that comes to mind when you think about traveling, especially traveling abroad. But let me explain. So I love to go to grocery stores when I travel. It's one of the first things I try to do. Grocery store, convenience store if there isn't a grocery store nearby. And there's a couple of really great reasons to go explore for grocery stores. First reason is actually it can be a great place to get a very inexpensive meal very quickly. So sometimes, you have a day packed full of museums and sightseeing and, sitting down for an hour, or even 2 hours in some cases, as is often the case in Europe, to have a served lunch, it just isn't really how you want to spend your time. So it can be a great way to get some grab-and-go meals. I love, when I'm in England, I go to Marks & Spencer Food Hall, grab a sandwich, a drink, and a bag of chips, and it's, like a meal deal at, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, something like that. So you can get some really quick, easy on-the-go meals. It also lets you do a bit of, a picnic. One time I was in Paris and I did, a kind of a grab-and-go sort of lunch, found a nice little spot down the island from Notre Dame, and just sat on a bench having my lunch, watching the tourist boats go by, watching people, so it gives you a really nice location sometimes to just have a little picnic and get outside of a restaurant and enjoy and immerse yourself in a bit of the scenery. The other thing I really like for grocery stores is I love to try new flavors. If you watched this session I did on libations, I love to try different flavors of drinks, but I just love to explore different flavors from different countries. It can give you a great insight into kind of what are the prevailing flavors of that culture. I was really excited the first time I went to New Zealand to discover that there's lots of stuff that's flavored with banana. So everyone who knows me knows how much I love bananas, and so I could get all kinds of things flavored with banana. I was so happy. So that's a flavor that's really popular. So again, it gives you an insight into kind of the local palate and what types of things people enjoy eating. Plus, I just genuinely like to explore the idea of some new foods. Try something I haven't had before. I love to be able to take some things home and share them with friends and family, so that even if they maybe couldn't come with me on my trip, it gives them an opportunity to experience a little bit of what I did too. So I have just a small sampling of the things laid out that I picked up in grocery stores on my travels. But certainly find a grocery store and do it when you have a little bit of time. And I literally just walk up and down every aisle. I look to see what's different. There's places where milk and eggs are on the shelves and not in the refrigerated section. Things like that not that I necessarily am looking to buy milk and eggs, but just that, it's something different worth noting. You can really get a good idea of, again, the kinds of things people eat. So some of my favorite things that I've discovered on my travels, this is sort of going back to my childhood. So Nesquik, you've probably had chocolate when you were a kid, maybe even strawberry, but as I said, I love banana. So the very first time I was in England many years ago, I was excited to discover you can buy Nesquik powder in banana flavor. So you better believe every time I go to England, this comes home with me. I love it. Another thing I like along the beverage line from England is there's this company called, unfortunately I don't have much left, Bottle Green. They make these cordials, and cordials are actually very common in England. I've also seen them in Germany and Austria. Essentially, it's a flavored sugary syrup. Think like simple syrup with flavors, but then you mix it with typically club soda or just plain seltzer, and it makes a really nice, refreshing drink. This one is ginger and lemongrass. I absolutely love it. But yeah, can't find this anywhere here, so I'm very sad that I'm almost at the bottom of that. This little wonderful thing is called a tea cake by a company called Tunnocks. And it is essentially, the best way I can describe it is it's almost like a little mini s'more all wrapped up in one. So it's a biscuit. So in the UK they call those biscuits, we call them cookies. But it's a digestive biscuit. And I guess the closest thing I could say is it's close to maybe like a graham cracker. But it's a digestive biscuit with marshmallow surrounded by chocolate. Heaven. Absolute heaven. So again, I usually bring home at least a box or two of these whenever I go to England. If I'm in France, this hot chocolate, absolutely love it. Had it at a hotel, well, I think it was the first time I was in Paris. And again, it's something I always bring back whenever I visit. And you know, certainly if you're in a place like France or Switzerland or Belgium where they're really known for their chocolate, you can bet their hot chocolate mix is probably pretty good. Italy, coffee. So, you know, lots of different brands and varieties of espresso. You know, typically in the U.S. we might have one, maybe two. There's a whole variety, whole assortment, whole section of the grocery store dedicated to different kinds of espresso. So try it out. Bring something home that maybe you've never seen here before. These little pastille candies. They used to have them a long, long time ago. I remember seeing them in the U.S. But they're just little hard candies. They come in this pretty little box. Throw them in your bag. You know, it's great when you just need a little something after a meal. But they come in all sorts of different flavors. New Zealand. So in addition to all the wonderful banana things in New Zealand, there's a coffee company called Robert Harris that makes really delicious flavors. They have a butter, I think it's called butter rum, maybe, or butter toffee that is out of this world, that if I can get it, I get it. And interesting, you don't usually think of New Zealand when you think of quality chocolate. You know, you think Switzerland, France, Belgium. But I have to say, there's a company called Whittaker's. And they make these little bars. This one's the peanut slab, or you can get them in this giant version, the almond gold. These are my two favorites. And they have a few other different flavors, but this chocolate is out of this world. And the thing I really like about these is that it's whole peanuts and whole almonds. It's not chopped up pieces. And I really, really like that. So this chocolate is just divine. So it's just a sampling, but you know, lots of other things that you can find. You know, anything from, you know, condiments like curry sauce, or there's a French mustard I love to bring home, a Swedish mustard, you know, to Heinz beans. You know, I love Heinz beans, the English style and Irish style of Heinz beans. One thing you have to be aware of, though, is if you're looking at anything like dairy or meat or cheese, you're just going to check that you can actually bring that across the border. There are restrictions around bringing those, you know, fruits, vegetables, produce, meats, cheeses, dairy. There are restrictions, and you may not be able to bring it back. So one thing you can do is on the Customs and Immigration website, you can actually look up an item to see if it's something that you're allowed to bring back, and it will tell you, you know, if you can bring it. If you do, and it's on the list of questionable items, make sure you declare it at the border, because you certainly don't want to get caught with it and then get fined. They might take it from you if it's not permitted, but again, you know, check the website if you're not sure if it's something that can be brought across. But typically, these kind of non-perishable items that you see here, it's not a problem. You can bring them home, and there's really no limit as to how much you can bring, thankfully, because I do like to stock up on some of these things when I travel. But as I said, walk through the grocery store, take a look. You know, one of the other ones, I don't have a sample here. If you're in Ireland or England, Scotland, you know, anywhere in the British Isles, potato chips. If you love potato chips, definitely there's a whole huge section just for potato chips. You can get potato chips in flavors I've never seen. Beef, shrimp cocktail. One of the ones that I've discovered recently that I love, and I really wish a potato chip manufacturer, hint, hint, Cape Cod potato chips, would make here. It's a sea salt and cider vinegar potato chip. Oh, so good. But crazy amounts of flavors of potato chips. So take your time, walk through the aisles, see what there is. You know, you might not entirely know what it is, especially if, you know, it's not obvious from the packaging, you know, but give it a whirl. Worst that happens is you don't like it, you throw it away. So, you know, definitely check it out. Try some new flavors. You might discover some things that become your, you know, must-have list. The good thing is, as the world seems to be kind of getting physically or figuratively smaller, a lot of the items that I used to have to, you know, hoard when I would travel are available in the U.S. Unfortunately, nothing in this selection is available, at least not that I could find in the U.S. So, you know, it's a great idea, again. Bring home something that you can't get here, maybe a flavor that's a little different from what you have at home. Share it with family and friends, and it's a great way to, you know, share that travel experience with everybody. I hope this has been useful and give you some things to think about the next time you travel. For other tips and information, you can check out some of the other videos, tutorials on this YouTube channel, or visit myhappysuitcase.com. Thanks for watching.